Welcome, everybody, to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, the show before the NFL draft for every Steeler fan, because tomorrow could be Christmas coming early. But I just want to say, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I will get on my social media here momentarily, but also we have a special guest. We're going to be doing back-to-back tonight and tomorrow. My special guest is 1/3 of the Steelers Realm podcast, one of the hottest Steeler podcasts going today. Myself and the Steelers Realm podcast are in a contest for Indiana County's finest podcast, but we're the only two effing podcasts that actually run all year long. So we don't show any explicit photos, and we know we can sing karaoke, nothing against the karaoke guys, but they're not Steelers Realm podcast, and they're not the Triple B Experience podcast. So my guest this evening to talk some Steeler football, I know he's excited. He's going to be choo-chooing the train. My special guest, family to the show, Freight Train. Freight Train, how you doing this evening?
Woo, woo!
Woo,
Man,
woo.
it's been way too long for me being on this show, dude. I mean, it's been months, man, and I'm glad to be back on here. Dude, your opening song, man, that makes me want to run through a damn wall, dude. That fucking kills it.
Well, it took me a while. I have to get a little bit tech savvy, a little bit more experienced. I'm like alley-oop when it comes to tech. I'm trying to do a little bit because now I'm just the one-man band in the Triple B Experience. Those guys had other stuff in their lives going, but I God bless them for helping me out, and they have an open door anytime they want to come on. But I just try to keep trucking, just trying to keep doing.
Yeah.
And once again, congratulations for getting nominated for the Steelers Realm podcast, Indiana County's podcast category. You guys and myself, like I said, we're the only podcast that actually been going strong and running consecutively all year long. So,
Right. Yeah. It's like a little friendly battle between the two of us here. Like either one of us don't really give a shit whichever one wins, just as long as one of us wins.
No, I don't give a
You know?
rat's ass, man. I don't care. I just think it's funny because I live here. I know, JT lives here. I just to see my beautiful face in the pamphlet that goes all over the place is funny.
Right.
And I mean, I do appreciate everybody that's been voting because today was the last day to vote. So if you didn't vote, try to get in. I don't know. It might be already done. I don't know. I have no idea. But if I do win, I said I was going to crack an Iron City beer and do a shot. So if that happens, true to my word, I will do this and get on. But are you excited for tomorrow, though?
Dude, I'm jacked.
I
can't wait, dude. And like the Steelers have made this kind of like a mystery. Like there's no like glaring, this is who we're definitely taking. You know what I mean? Like it could be at any like three positions that comes to my head off the top. You know what I mean?
Well, what did you think about this off season? Because I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I know we play message tag and stuff throughout the season and the off season. How did you like this off season of the Omar Khan era?
If I had to put a grade on it, I would give it a B+. I think the offensive line additions was great and all. I think they pulled off another stellar trade with getting the wide receiver. Like that was genius. I just wish they would have done a little bit better in filling the linebackers because I feel like we didn't get any better there. I think we just replaced them with cheaper options that are basically the same players that we got rid of.
Yeah, like Ford Festivas that have a lot of miles. But I'm going to go to the Facebook because I got it up. Brian Burns could be the special guest tomorrow on the experience side of the MegaCast because, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a MegaCast while the draft is going. Myself and the boys from Steelers Realm combining once again to watch the NFL draft and give our opinions for all the selections coming up to the Steelers draft. And you guys can tune in with us while you guys are watching it too, and you guys can hear us. And oh my God, these guys are funny. Yeah, Burns, we are not drafting Stacey Ferriman in round 2. Chad Lytle, here we go tomorrow. Benjamin, thanks for tuning in. Steele probably bringing back Jack after the draft. So he's talking Miles Jack probably. Steele said that probably to save a little bit of money, I'm guessing. We need some depth in that middle linebackers. We don't have shit.
Yeah, I would take him back. I thought he was pretty consistent. the most consistent
Yeah.
linebacker we had last year, honestly.
Well, I'm glad Devin Bush is gone now. What a fucking bust he was.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
terrible. You know, having his dad call into the fan and bitch and cry because they were talking about his kid. That'd be like my dad, you know, calling up the fan and it's like, oh hey, quit picking on my son JR. My old man would be like, hey, it's like marshmallows, just roast the kid,
Right.
you know.
Your son plays in professional sports. It happens to everybody that plays in professional sports,
My old man,
especially if you have the label professional on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my old
what do
man
you
hates
expect?
he hates sports though. My dad's anti-sports.
Really?
Yeah, if it's a John Wayne or a Clint Eastwood movie, man, he's watching that or a war movie. They overpaid. He always said, you know what I mean. But when he bets on him, he wins big. That's all you can say. Maybe I shouldn't have said that on the podcast show. But
I need his secrets.
yeah, I do too. Hey, Boothie, thanks for tuning in. Mark Romani, a Red Skinner, is on the social Facebook media site. Hey guys, bring your comments on. I will actually express it. And like I said, if Burns can come in, Brian Burns will be my special guest on the MegaCast with Steelers Realm. He's going to pop in. I'll send him a link. Hopefully, he's not lying. Hopefully, he can actually know how to do the stuff because I think us Marion Center guys, technological stuff is subpar to us. Lakin, thank you for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show with my special guest, Freight Train from the Steelers Realm podcast. So, you don't think that since we're going to go talking about receivers, you know, you don't think that they're going to draft any receivers because of this depth chart that I sent you, do you?
I don't think so. I mean, we're actually pretty deep in that position. You know what I mean? It's just like
Right.
maybe they could bring in some undrafted free agents at the end of the year just to kind of fill out the roster for training camp. But realistically, where's there an open spot to bring in anybody? You know, we're getting Calvin Austin back, who didn't play at all last year, so he's essentially a rookie this year. So you already have
some training stuff with him. Yeah. We just need somebody to return. Now, like I got the starters, like, you know what I mean, with Dante, you know, Pickens definitely, and then with Allen Robinson, who they just traded for. There's your top three. Probably with George Pickens being number one. Now, like Dante, 18 million, no fucking touchdowns, which is unheard of in the NFL ever. Like he should have gave back $12 million.
Yeah.
Still says they will take one with the 80th or 120 pick receiver, he says. Do you agree with them?
I don't personally agree with him. You know, I just think there's other needs that we need. You know, get some more.
Steele, a lot of
guys,
people might not.
You know?
He doesn't agree with you, Steele. So don't come to my house wanting to kick my ass. Holy shit, Robbie Mears! Thanks for tuning in Colorado, Mearsy. Good to see you. Boothie says they brought in Boykin also. That's right. They signed him. Booth, for a cup of coffee, and he might not make the team. Maybe he might not make it. I don't know. What do you think, Freight Train?
I mean, it has to be because how he plays special teams, apparently. You know what I mean?
6'4". He should be able to get a touchdown. He should be able to get at least 2 more touchdowns than Dante Johnson.
Well, according to Matt Canada, it's hard to score touchdowns. So, I mean,
ooh. Well, I will say if this offense does not get Matt Canada something with these players that he has, then he needs to go, and hopefully that offensive coach that they hired in the offseason could be his replacement.
I mean, our offense, realistically, I think is probably second best in the division. I mean, it's kind of hard to put it up against like the Bengals offense, but I think our offense is better than Baltimore, especially if Lamar doesn't come back. It's better than Cleveland's.
Well, do you think if the Ravens sign Hopkins as a receiver that we might not be able to cover those guys? I just read an article before I got on just to do my due diligence of trying to be the good podcast host.
I mean, Lamar has to throw him the ball.
Okay.
I mean, we've all seen how he throws the ball. It's not the greatest, you know what I mean? But he also hasn't had any wide receivers of that caliber. I mean, the best wide receiver he's really had was Hollywood Brown in his career, you know? So I don't know.
Okay, we got some more people. Yeah. Kelly Reed, thanks for watching. Benjamin, always, I think Benjamin's, I love you, Benjamin, for coming on every show. Super Bowl or bust with Benjamin. 14-3 his record. I don't know if he was smoking some or he got a couple 6-packs in on him already, but God bless him. Benjamin, he was like, "Hey, Bubba, when's your show coming on?" I said, "Well, it's going to be a little later tonight. It's at 9 o'clock." So I appreciate Benjamin. He runs a Facebook Steelers site. And the Lumberjack, Brian Yeager, has tuned in. Boothie says, lineman, first round. Do you agree with Jeff Booth on this?
Yes.
Okay, I do too. And I think we're going to trade up Boothie for that first round pick.
But I won't be upset if Joey Porter Jr.'s there and we take him. I mean, is there any Steelers fan that is like, if Joey Porter's there, I don't want him?
Me. Reason why? Freight Train, yes, as crazy as it sounds, I want an offensive tackle. And the reason why we're going to get into the offensive tackles with the depth, yeah, it's I know. And I don't do drugs either, I know. But you just want him, do you just want him because he's Porter's kid?
No. That has a little bit to do with that, but that's so far down on the list. You know what I mean? Is bringing somebody on that's a kid of a former Steeler going to win his football games by itself? No. But when you watch him at Penn State, he has good coverage skills, good ball skills, and he's a very good tackler at the cornerback position.
See, that's why I need Brian Burns on here, because Burnsy's the Penn State knowledgeable guy. You know what I mean? Like, Burnsy knows his college stuff, which I'm trying to learn a lot during the offseason, no doubt. It's different from the college to the pros. The Steelers build an offense and score 20. I hope so, Steeler Freak. I really do. We got a lot of comments, Freight Train. We're just going to keep these right on track. Chad says Matt Canada needs to stop writing his game plan in crayons. Kelly Reed says, no problem. Love watching. Yeager says, we get 4 picks in the top 80. It's going to be a good class. Chris Show, thanks for tuning in, Chris. Chad says, line. Brian says, not in the first round. Porter is good, but we can get him at 32, he says.
I don't know if you'll slide that down.
Kelly Reed says, I like Porter Jr. I watched him very closely, she said. Okay, now Eric Steele's got another one. Steele's full of I mean, my boys, they must do their homework.
They bring the heat.
Yeah, they are bringing the fucking heat. He says Porter Jr., 1 interception in 3 years of starting.
How many pass breakups, though?
Well, I don't know. And Steele probably, if you can Google that, Steele, I don't know. That
compared to targets. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the other stuff you have to look at.
And Booth says
you can't just base it completely off interceptions.
Well, I would like a ball hawk, though, too. I would like a ball hawk. I just don't know if he's going to, he's got to live up to his old man's legacy. I don't know, but like I said, as we get to the end of the show and we give our picks, I mean, that's what I don't want to throw it out there soon, but it's going to be a very good draft. We can get anything tomorrow, and it should be something. Boothie says the Steelers are expecting someone to trade up to grab one of the picks. That's true. They've been talking with Chicago Bears. Did you know that, Freight Train?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know you know your stuff. And then Chad says Porter might be okay, but he's not. Sauce Gardner, don't reach. Remember who he covered, he said. Chad said that. So we're getting a little bit
of really good Big Ten receivers that's came out the past 2 years. So he's definitely covered pretty good wide receivers.
Okay.
Especially from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I do know.
Okay.
About
yeah, you would know. Yeah, you would know that. Yeah. You would know that living in that area. Area. So also too, the backups are, like you said before, the rookie Calvin Austin, who we have not seen. And Gunnar Osowski is the backup for George Pickens. I believe Gunnar is not going to make the team. I love the name. I don't see
it either.
I love the name, but he just doesn't have it. And then Anthony Miller would be the backup for Allen Robinson on this depth chart that I sent you that I looked at. And I like Anthony Miller. He had a great year for Chicago. He's a little older though. I don't know.
He has problems staying healthy.
He speculates he
might
not
stay
make
on the
the
field.
team.
Your best ability is availability, and he's never available.
Right. And then like I said, they signed Miles Boykin, and then they have Dez Fitzpatrick, And then they have, well, this guy's making, Cody White's making a team because his old man's on a team, is in management. That's one of the reasons why he's probably on the team
Right.
making the spots on the practice squad. Okay.
Yeah.
And J. Marcus Bradley, who's probably going to make the practice squad, and Dan Chesnia. Practice squads, because we need guys for depth. We do. We have a lot of receivers. Right. And like Steele said in the prior stuff, we draft one, maybe 4th or 5th. So we got like, oh man, it's getting hot here. Brian Yeager says tackle or linebacker. Chris Elliott, thanks and welcome to the show. Tackle with the 1st round pick, then the 32nd. D lineman Carter. Carter won't be there at the 32nd pick, Chris Elliott. I do not think he will be. And if he didn't get reckless behind the wheel, he wouldn't have been in the top. He'd be gone in the top 4 or 5. He'd be gone, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie, thanks for tuning in. So, I mean, that depth class that we have, what based on what we just talked about, what would you give the Steelers receivers as a grade right now going in the day before this draft?
Right now, I'd probably give them. That's a tough one because it's
sorry. I didn't mean to ask
my grade has an asterisk behind it just because of how bad Deontay Johnson's season was last year.
Okay.
If you would have asked me with this group before last year, I probably would have gave an A-, knowing what I know now.
Ooh, wow.
Pickens
okay.
And everything else.
Okay.
Right now, I'm probably sticking with like a solid B.
Solid B.
You know what I mean?
And
and it will increase when we see what we get with Allen Robinson and see how Deontay Johnson comes back from the year he had last year. We all know we're getting a George Pickens. I mean, you can see it. The guy's got outstanding talent through the roof. It's all about where they put these people, put these players. Like I said on the Steelers realm, I think this opens the door for Deontay to play more slot, which I think Deontay's a lot better when you get him running sideline to sideline than just straight line.
Okay.
Because you'll see it in certain players. Certain players have more lateral quickness than they do just vertically. You know what I mean? I think Deontay Johnson is better avoiding tackles than just running past somebody.
Well,
so whether that's using bunch sets, because I don't even know if we saw a bunch set last year.
I don't think we did. I don't think we did. Because
I think this group would be great if you bunched them together.
And we didn't even see 5 wide, which I know they're not going to do, as crazy as it sounds. You know what I mean? And bring in Miles. I think Miles played maybe 2 plays all year. You know what I mean? He's 6'4". They don't use him. And I know, Freiermuth, they use him a lot. Now we got Boothie says a B for the receiver grade. Chad said a C.
Wow.
Chris Elliott said a B. Now Steele got back to us about the pass breakup. He had 11 pass breakups last year. He said the Steelers right now would be a B-, he said.
So we're in the same boat. We're all in the same, besides the C. I feel like he needs to elaborate.
Me personally, I would say a C. I would say C.
Why?
I would say C due to the fact of right now is I just don't know what Calvin Austin's going to have. Right now, just looking on paper. Now, I'm hoping for a B+ to an A. I'm hoping Pickens gets more balls thrown to him, but that's all on Matt Canada. And I believe this year, they're going to run the ball a lot more, but there has been people that's speculating that Pickett's going to throw 20 to 25 touchdowns, and I hope he does. But it's not going to be – it's going to be probably Freiermuth, and it's going to be the tight ends, and it's going to be maybe a little Najee out of the backfield, on some short passes on the goal line, which is fine too. I'm okay with 20 to 25. I just think that I don't know how Allen Robinson's going to be as a Steeler. Is he going to be healthy enough to be there? Because if he gets hurt again and Dante's not catching touchdowns and we just got George Pickens and they're going to double him anyway, there's your C for me right now if that happens.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like I've said before, it'll be interesting with Allen Robinson because I personally believe Kenny Pickett's the best quarterback Allen Robinson's ever had throwing the ball. Because you got to think, Allen Robinson had 1,000-yard receiving years in Jacksonville with Blake Bortles throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
We know how Blake Bortles
could have 1,000 yards with Blake Bortles.
Right. Yeah. No. And then he goes to L.A., yeah, he had Matthew Stafford for probably what 2-3 games, and then it was a quarterback carousel after that,
Right.
and then he gets hurt. So it'll be interesting when he comes here, a better situation, a better quarterback, see how that improves his game as well.
Well, I definitely think that Kenny, he gained about maybe 13 to 15 pounds of weight, put a little muscle on, so he's going to be a
Mhm.
lot more sturdy. He's got to. I don't want him to take the hits though. That's why when we get to the end here, when we say who we're going to pick, that's why I want some. He can't take the shots like he took last year. There's
Right.
no doubt he cannot.
Well,
But
and he's
also
gotta
too,
learn to fall without bouncing his melon off the turf too.
yeah,
I mean
yeah, because anymore that's what they're all about. So
Right.
Steelers Freak said Pickens has to improve with routes and getting open. He's more than a 60-40 guy.
Pickens is open when he's not open. We saw that last year. Just throw it up to him.
Yeah,
How
except for
many
when they
look at
played
him, the
Atlanta.
majority of his catches were contested catches.
Yeah, and I think he could have got more, but I mean, not getting. I think he didn't get one reception in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, and that would definitely piss me off. I mean, they don't feed him the ball like that. That's Matt Canada. So
Right.
I got Chad says, I hope they prove me wrong, but on paper they're not jumping off the page. Speaking as receivers, Boothie says need to use the tight ends more. Fryermuth could be the next Heath Miller. I agree with him on that.
Yeah.
Chris Ward, thanks for tuning into the show. Eric Steele says, what Allen Robinson are we getting? And that's what I said when I gave my grade. You
Mhm.
know, and Robinson doesn't have any separation after his injuries, he said. And Burns says lineman, probably Joe Samatowski or Eddie Bazzala, Burns will say. It's a little high school humor here when you're an old man, but that's how Burns is. So, okay, I mean, yeah, you're getting a little graded higher than me. So they have a lot to prove for me, I guess.
Well, and I think all this group was really missing was a true veteran receiver anyways. You know what I mean? We're not looking for a 1,000-yard guy. We're just looking for a solid veteran to come in and make some catches. We didn't
Did
have
you
that last year.
Did you want him? Did you want him to sign? If they could have signed Beckham, would you have took him?
No, I was
Did I ever
screaming for
talk to you?
Jarvis. I was screaming for Jarvis Landry. I thought Jarvis Landry would
Oh,
be a solid pickup for this football team. You talk about a hard-nosed wide
I
receiver,
would take him. Yeah,
blocks.
I
Yeah,
would take
that's
him.
who I wanted, and he's still out there. I
Yeah,
don't know
and I think
why.
he wants too much money
That could
because
be it. Yeah, and he's
you
played
know,
AFC North football. He knows what
yeah,
this division's like.
yeah, he's played tough against the Steelers too. So I think he
Yeah.
wanted too much money. That's why they didn't. I
Mhm.
don't know. Robinson is the flip side of whatever the Robinson we get. Exactly. Is Robinson the man that we hope, or are we getting a healthy
Well,
rookie in Calvin Austin the third? Chad says.
and when you look at the draft, the draft, you look at the contract details of the trade. The
Uh
Steelers
huh.
are thinking the same way. That's why they wanted LA to pick up $10.5 million of the $15 million. You're essentially getting this guy. You could have him for 2 years for $5 million.
Oh, we got him for a fucking Gatorade and two tacos at Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Really, I mean, we got him economically sound. Now, Steele says he thought that went to Dallas.
Jarvis
Uh,
did.
yeah, Jarvis went to Dallas. I don't know. I don't know. Steele, I'm sorry, because honestly, if it ain't Steeler shit, unless I get some other hip hop stuff,
Yeah,
it's kind of, you
right.
know. Chad said it's a great trade either way. He says.
It's
So
a
I
it's
just
a
hope
no-
he's
it's really
healthy.
a non-lose situation. You know what I mean? It's $5 million. What
Yeah.
veteran wide receiver are you going to pick up for 2 years essentially for $5 million?
You pay me $5 million, I will wash and wax somebody's car. I'll I'll
Well,
I'll, I'll pick up
yeah,
the groceries for 5 mil. I'll definitely mow the grass with a push mower like I did today. So I mean, I'll do it. Well, I'll clean their commodes with for 5 mil.
toothbrush. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it just hopes on who we get to Robinson do we get. I mean, that's the thing. That's the only
Mhm.
thing that I'm seeing is I think Pickens is great talent, super talent.
Oh,
Dante,
yeah.
not worth the 18 million. He should have gave back, like I said, 12 million. And Chad says right on freight train, he would have to be a total bust. So that's what Chad says. You're right.
Mm.
So anyway, so that I mean, we talked about the receivers going into this draft. No, Steele says Landry is still a free agent. Thank you,
See,
Steele.
there we go.
Yeah, because it's hard for me to, run a show, talk, think of all the funny humor that I have, and look shit up at the same time. I can't do it. I'm good,
Yeah.
but I ain't that damn good. So,
Hmm.
but this is what scares me going into this other topic that I sent to you: the offensive line depth. Okay, I like the players that we signed. I'm gonna say, I give it a B plus for what we signed. We got some Steeler type players coming into our
Hmm.
organization because if I said it numerous times, we are not feared anymore like we used to be when we used to go to stadiums or even in our own house anymore.
Right.
We have to get back to basic football. And I know the NFL is not back to, running the ball and, I want to see taking time off the clock, running the ball and keeping our defense, because TJ Watt, God forbid, he gets fucking hurt. We're done. So
No,
we can't have
that's
that.
not sexy. The NFL
No.
wants it to look sexy.
I
So
don't want to
football
look
fans that
sexy.
aren't they wanna be attracted to people that are football fans, but not really football fans.
Well, tell them to watch the fucking XFL if they want sexy, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Watch the Pittsburgh
Speaking,
Maulers.
I watched the Maulers, brother. I don't know. In your backyard, they can't even score a touchdown.
No,
They suck,
they're
dude.
bad. They are
They're
terrible.
terrible. It was like holy shit. It was like the 80s.
Dude, it was hard to
Fucking,
watch. It was
yeah.
so hard to watch.
I bet it was hard. I watched it on TV and it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I watched it where, I got paid to watch it. But Steele
Yeah.
says they still need to upgrade both offensive tackles. Would not care if they took 2 with the first 3 picks. Wow, Steele, you're gambling, brother.
That's wow.
Ooh. I mean, in a great dream, that would be awesome.
Maybe if one of them's a defensive tackle.
I still like that nose tackle, Sika from Hawaii. I like that dude, and I picked him in a
Yeah.
mock draft. I got him second in a mock draft. I do like him.
Mhm.
And realistically, when I get in this, the left tackle, Dan Moore, is the only left tackle we have.
Yeah,
That's
writing's
where,
on the wall.
yeah, that is there's no depth behind him. They
Mhm.
don't have anything behind him right now as we speak. And right now, he's your starter right now going into tomorrow. You got left guard Isaac Suomola. I heard an interview with this guy. This guy is,
Solid pickup.
solid. Upgrade on our guard pick. And then Kevin Dobson is there. And then Kendrick Green is there too. And Boothie says dump Kendrick Green, but I don't know if they're going to dump Kendrick Green because they need some center help too.
Mhm.
So Booth, I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to dump it. And how can anyone not like Nate Herbig? Enthusiasm and adding Sumaloa is a bad man. Yeah, Nate Herbig looks like Brian Burns. Burns, I know you're still on here, but he looks like you. That's what I thought when we signed him. He looks like a dude from my high school, Marion Center, that, you know what I mean, that just happy-go-lucky dude that will still block your ears off. And the game that he had against the Steelers, he did block our ears off.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen that. He
Yeah.
fucking destroyed
Yeah.
us on
Yeah.
that game.
Well,
That
we're
was a
gonna
game
find out. We're gonna find out real quick the Andy Weidel effect with this offensive line because those two guys were in Philadelphia with Andy Weidel, so he
Mhm.
knows him really, really well. So
Well, I build it from the trenches up. The
well,
trenches
yeah.
up, and then everything else will come. So,
When's the
hey,
last
Megan
time the
Elizabeth, thanks
Eagles?
for tuning in.
When's
What's
the
that,
last time
brother?
the Eagles? When's the last time the Eagles had a terrible defensive and offensive line?
I
A
can't
long
remember.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long time. Like I said, Megan Satterley Elizabeth, thanks for tuning in. Steele said Green will not be on a team after training camp. Both guards they signed play center also. Okay, Steele. Okay, because the center I'm getting to that, is Mason Cole, starting center, and his backup is Ryan McCollum, because Hassenauer got signed by the Giants, which I did like. I liked Hassenauer.
So is he saying like Herbig could go into center, maybe, possibly?
Maybe Nate could. I don't know. I don't know the centers in the draft that are actually spectacular enough that they might. I don't know. Tomorrow and Friday and Saturday is gonna. There's so depth in every position. The Steelers need help. I don't care what anybody says. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a lot of help in a lot of positions.
Right.
I mean, we got some good stuff in the off season. We solidified some stuff. but we do not have any outside linebackers besides the starters. Highsmith don't have a contract yet.
My
TJ
my
Watt gets
glaring
hurt.
need, my glaring one's the middle linebacker position.
Yeah, we got those guys
That
from the.
has to be addressed. It
Well,
just
I
has
hope
to
so.
be.
I'll take that Campbell guy.
Yeah, from Iowa.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like, we got rid of Bush because of his ineffectiveness.
Ah, he's
Okay.
terrible.
Spillane, let him walk because he was kind of bad in pass coverage. He was kind of a one-trick pony. He could tackle, but when he got out in coverage, got exposed. The Miles Jack one surprised the hell out of me. So all we had left was Marcus Robinson, and then we bring in some kind of guys that are like almost bargain bin kind of guys. Like they have some highlight tape out there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just tackling, and both of them aren't that great in pass coverage. And in today's NFL, you have to be able to cover in pass coverage, especially with the way the tight end position is now.
Well, we got some more comments. Chad says, still feel like we need a solid tackle, but the inside O line is solid. Harris should get some holes. Benjamin, God bless you. He's picking going to the playoffs, and Steele once again come up with some the inside middle linebackers is weak. The draft is none of them that have first round grades. So maybe in the later rounds, we'll get them, in the later 4 and 5. And then Steelers freak. The NFL has changed the rules for splash plays, controlling the clock with great D. Win away of the Buffalo. Okay, I know. I don't know. It's just it's so hard to go back to old school football, but also too, Freight Train just grinding that clock off and keeping TJ and Fitzpatrick on the sidelines, keeping them healthy is a good
Right.
thing I see for the longevity of the season.
Well, and Najee Harris is kind of like that ground and pound kind of running back too. So, with a offensive line that kind of bullies people, it goes hand in hand with his running style.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think Harris is going to have a big year. I've always liked Najee Harris. I have not jumped off the bandwagon at all. I liked
No.
that this last 8 games he was coming on.
Mhm.
Poor play calling in the first part of the season, and one game could have went here or there, but 9-8 was 9-8. Last year was last year. This year is a new year. They were going 7-2, and the second part of the season they were the hottest team going. And they had to just count on everybody else. And like I say before, I don't want to do that no more. I want to just,
Right.
So I got Boothie says I thought they should have went for White from Tampa Bay as the linebacker. I think he's a little
still
pricey,
there.
Booth. Yeah, they might. Who knows? They might.
He's stealing my thunder for the end of the show, Bubba.
I'm so sorry. God damn it, Booth. I stole Freight Train's thunder. I'm sorry. Shit.
No, he did. He did.
Oh, he did.
I
Oh,
was
Booth
bringing
did.
up
Oh,
that trade at the end of
let's
the
not give Booth
show.
any credit here. Come on. He'll be
Damn it,
knocking on my
Booth.
door in about 5 minutes. He's like, "You prick."
Damn it.
Steele says Tippmann center from Wisconsin could be a good third round pick. Thank you, Steele, with that stuff right there, because I wouldn't know. But I don't know if I'd take a center in the third round, because we haven't even talked about any type of. Well, you have, because you want to get Porter. But if we don't get Porter, we need some safety help in the second or third round. Like, there's a lot of them. Now, if we get Porter, then your dream is coming true. But then where do we go after that? Because God only knows.
Yeah. Well, I'm only taking Porter if there is no solid tackles left on the board. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like if that's a solid tackles there, I'm taking that.
Okay.
Because that's one of our glaring needs.
Okay.
Or if somehow, by the grace of God, Will Anderson slides down the draft, that the inside linebacker from Alabama, which I don't see happening, but if he happens to be there, we have to explore that option. Those are the two glaring needs on the football team.
Right.
Offensive tackle, inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think the secondary could be okay, mediocre at best if we don't get anybody. But the right guard was James Daniel and Nate Herbig and William Dunkel. Andy Dunkel's brother is depth as a guard. And then our right tackle is Chooks and Lee Raven Clark, depth. Chooks is, he's got that big money. They could cut him too. You never know.
Yeah. Or
You know,
Dotson. Kevin Dotson's not out of the woods yet either.
no, someone's going to get cut, like somebody said on here. And I believe that, if they're not up to par and they're not doing what they need to do, there'll be a lineman that gets cut in the training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers did it against the Eagles last year, controlled the clock. Well, the Eagles scored 4 touchdowns, not in a red zone within a few minutes. Just not trying to be negative, just facts. Okay, yeah. No, that was a blowout game there, Steeler freak. You're not. I mean, it is what it is. 2 games last year, it was a blowout, and that was one of them. Buffalo was the other. Steelers says quarterback is deep this year in the draft, so we shall see. So let's not take so much more of our time. Let's go with, because we got a big show tomorrow night, man. We're going to be talking, MegaCast, Steelers Round podcast, Triple B Experience podcast. Every round to the Steelers, we're going to be talking, chiming in. Hopefully, you guys can jump on tomorrow night while we're watching it. We're all watching the draft. And we can, drink a cold one, get your beer from Alley Cat Beverage, and get some Bob's Pizza. And, we can all just watch what the Steelers will draft. So to say what you're going to say now, so tomorrow, Pittsburgh Steelers are up to draft. And you said before, do you still go 17th pick? There's no trade up, because if they trade up, that's not taking a cornerback.
Right. No, it's definitely an offensive tackle. Yeah.
Okay. So Freight Train at the 17th pick, no trade up. Your pick is right now.
My gut tells me offensive tackle. I feel like one of them is going to be there. One of them has to be there.
But if Porter's there, you're taking him.
No, I'm taking the offensive tackle.
You're taking the offensive tackle. If Joey Porter Jr. is there, if you're sitting there at the 17th pick, you are taking a tackle.
Yes. Yep. You have to.
Okay.
You just have to. You know what I mean? And then if you really are in love with him, you could always trade up using that 32nd pick if he's still on the board. But you have to go with your biggest need. And cornerback is not our biggest need. It really isn't.
Okay. Because if they trade up, they're getting a tackle too, and I believe that. If they trade up, and they're talking with Chicago, if they trade up, they need a tackle, because Dan Moore is not the answer, because he's going to get fucking Kenny Pickett killed. Yeah. Dan Moore could be a backup, and that's all. I think he'd be a
solid backup.
Sure. We need depth. We also need depth, because people last year, the Steelers' offensive line lasted all season without barring big injuries, thank God. But that's hard to do in the NFL. So you still need backup. He has quality experience to actually do that. So, yeah. So I'm going to say that too. I'm going to say a tackle no matter what. I don't want Joey Porter Jr. Maybe the second pick we get a corner, but I also want a big nose tackle. And I got some more comments. Steele says Chooks is too much dead money this year. He will be gone next year, he says. And then Chad wishes he had some Bob's Pizza in Dallas. Open one up, brother. Open one up. You'd be a millionaire. And Steele says Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, first pick.
I like Paris Johnson Jr. as well.
Okay. And you've seen him play living out in Ohio. You
want to talk about a mauler? Paris Johnson Jr. is a mauler.
Well, any of those tackles will be good. We need a tackle. It's been a long time since we drafted a tackle. We need some of these pieces to compete with Cincinnati, because I think Cincinnati might implode from within with Joe Nixon's fucking charges. Thank God. Sorry about it, but he's an asshole. You know what I mean? Whatever. And Joe Burrows will have to carry that team on his back, and I don't think he can do it without a running game. So he got to have a little bit of running game, because his offensive line will get him killed. Yeah. So, and Cleveland will be Cleveland, and then the Ravens will have to duke it out. Right. And Chad says I would take Paris if he's there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And here's my other question is, okay, Devin White is still out there for trade. We obviously need a good inside linebacker, and he's the Devin that we didn't take.
Yeah. Can you imagine we messed up on that? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you maybe consider trading one of our second round picks or maybe if you can get away with a 3rd round pick and bring him in. I mean, I think it'd be kind of silly not to explore that option. I mean, he's still relatively young,
He'd be a
playing at a high
starter.
level.
He would be the
Yeah.
starter. Yeah, he'd definitely be a starter. And then either
So are you going to get value like him with those picks anyways? Because this team has to be close to, or has to be thinking a kind of like a win now scenario. You know what I
well,
mean? Like you have to take advantage of TJ Watt in his prime years, Minka Fitzpatrick in his prime years. You know, Najee's going into his prime years.
we still
Call it
need a
how it
defensive.
is.
We didn't even talk one time about any defensive lineman because Cam Hayward can't do it all. And
Right.
Steele says White is too big of a cap hit. That's what Steele says. He's coming with all the angles tonight.
Oh, Omar Khan can figure something out.
In
You know
Conway
what I
Trust,
mean?
I
I
guess.
mean, see if if he wants out that bad, and we're willing enough to dangle a nice pick out there, and Tampa Bay can pick up some of his salary.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, that's true. And who doesn't want to play for the Steelers defense? I'm sure every professional football player would want to play some kind of something on the Steeler defense. It's just legendary, historic Steeler D.
Right.
Steele says inside linebacker is not as important as a position as the other ones we need. He says, "Ooh, Steele, you're not. Wow, you're
He's mad at me
he
because of the
must be.
Devin.
Well, he's always mad. No, he's he's and I appreciate you still looking stuff up while we're on. He must be gearing on for tomorrow. I mean, a couple of my buddies, they know their shit. Yeah. Well, that and they got to. Oh well, Bubba, you're not always right, so we got to prove you wrong a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's just cool too. You know. So Chris Anderson, thanks for tuning into the Triple B Experience. But like I said, tomorrow is going to be something. Tomorrow we're going to be excited. It's I'm always excited when we do these mega cast shows. And like I said, the 3 of you guys, myself, and special guest on my side, Brian Burns. He said he'd come in a little after 9. If he can come in for a little bit, just to get him on, get him on the screen, it'll be big. Ratings will be huge. It'll be buy ratings, pay-per-view kind of stuff if Burns can get on. But tomorrow, are you ready for tomorrow then? So
I'm ready, and I have to ask, are the closet doors back on the hinges? Is there a chance that you're
I'm
gonna
not.
knock them
Yeah,
back
they're
off?
back. I put them back up because I wanted that nose tackle Davis. I really did, and I thought we could have. I didn't think anybody, if they didn't take Kenny Pickett last year in the first 10 or 12 rounds, I thought maybe we could get him in a second round pick. So I wanted to be spoiled and get everything I want. I'm glad we got Kenny Pickett. I look, I'm all about, Kenny. I Steele knows he's a big Pitt fan. He's loved them all the way through. Mav, Gary loved them at Pitt. I like Pitt too. So I mean, I'm glad that they kept him. He learned something. I just read an article, he used to talk to Ben all the time, in the facility, and talking to a future Hall of Famer is always good. Adding 13 pounds and 15 pounds of weight and just get him a tackle so he doesn't get knocked the fuck out because concussions are deadly, as I know. It's not a good thing. So tomorrow,
I was ready to just ride with Mitch, and if we were bad, we were bad because I knew the quarterback class we were coming into.
Well, we only have two quarterbacks in camp right now because Mason I don't know what the hell he's doing. They could sign him for a dirt cheap, maybe get him hooked up with some girls from Bear Elegance and get him a 6-pack of iron. I don't know, as long as he keeps his helmet on. But they'll probably get somebody. I heard some stories, maybe some sign a 4th string or 3rd string XFL guy, Ben DiNucci. I heard he's come up. You're getting them at a fairly discounted rate. They have experience. And if, no offense, guys and girls, listen to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show. If we're down to our 3rd quarterback, we're fucking in a lot. We're going to be in a lot of misery anyway.
Boy, we're in the doldrums.
Yeah. I mean, we need a quarterback for depth for practice team and stuff, but yeah, it'll be like, Duck Dodgers again. You know what I mean? Like, hey, God bless him, but now he's killing ducks and shit and doing whatever. But he had his big time playing for the Steelers, and he did what he could do. But hey, look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
or there could be a chance that they could do like another Chris Oladokun move and take one in the 7th round.
They could have had him and just kept him instead of like
Right.
I still wanted him, and he's with the Kansas City Chiefs now. So, but they also don't need to draft a quarterback, but they have had a couple guys they brought into for pre-visits, but I think they can get somebody I'm just looking here. Chris says, I always have thought that Joey Porter would be a great fit for the Steelers, not because of who his dad is, but the guy is a hard-hitting defensive back, which really hadn't had one since Troy Polamalu or Woodson. Steele says 8-1 Pirates. Pirates 8-1, beating the Dodgers. Chad says Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, isn't going to save us. That's true. He is not. Like I said, he's going down to Bear Elegance and grabbing probably a Permane sandwich and getting the hell out of town. So,
and we're not asking him to save us.
No. I just threw that out there before I get out of here. We only have 2 quarterbacks in camp. Probably sign some free agents, or like you said, maybe sign somebody in the 7th round pick, which is that's good too. We just need depth, and that's what it's there for. We definitely don't need a punter again because that'll be competition in the fucking punting department because there need to be. So
no,
and we don't
just
need
got
any running backs.
So there's that competition. So that's
and they'll probably sign Benny Snell after the draft. They'll get him at a good deal because he's still out there. They're not going to sign Derek Watt. The brothers are going to be broke up, I believe. And they should. Like, it is what it is.
I don't know, dude. I think I would take Derek Watt back at a discounted rate. You know what I mean? And I got into it with TA a little bit about it. Just like when Derek Watt's number was called, he produced.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, we need to get this 1 yard for a first down. Guess what? He got you the first down. You know what I mean? He plays special teams. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
The fullback position just isn't used in the NFL like it used to be anymore. So
that's a shame because I love the fullback position. I love it.
Right.
It's a shame they don't have it like it used to be.
But crazy. When you look at it, when you look at the overall scheme of things with Derek Watt, when his number was called upon, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a flashy player.
Right.
It is what it is. But if you can get him for a couple $1 million, then I think it's all worth it. You know what I mean?
Right. Jalen Warren, Boothie says, was a steal of a lifetime. Great backup, great 1-2 combo in that running game. Steele coming out with some knowledge tonight. Steele, bring that goddamn knowledge tomorrow when we got draft because we got to talk about stuff the whole way through until we pick our picks. Duggan from TCU, quarterback, 7th round, he says.
I probably wouldn't mind that. He's got a big arm.
Big arm's good. I'll take a big arm. I'll take a big arm because Mitch next year will not be our backup. He'll be gone after this year.
Yeah. He thinks he's going to start somewhere.
Yeah, there's no way. Just live your life, dude. Be a backup. Get your $10 million. You know what I mean? And if you have to relieve somebody, you're good at that. That's great. Coming out and beating Tom Brady was great. So I'll take that anytime, any day of the week. So, but
still doesn't overshadow the 2 picks against the Ravens in the red zone, though.
No.
Yeah,
you can't do that. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, I don't know who the hell he was throwing to. Probably throwing to Dante and trying to get a touchdown because he couldn't get nothing. So, well, I just want to say I appreciate you coming on tonight because I know we're gonna get out of here because tomorrow's a big day. It's a little longer because we're gonna be talking and waiting for the draft. Right. So we hope everybody that tuned in tonight and jump on tomorrow and give your comments and stuff for the MegaCast with the other guys from Steelers Realm podcast and myself. And if Burns comes on, it's going to be a treat, people, because it's never been done before. And he does know college football. There isn't anybody I know that doesn't know college football like him. He knows his college football. He's got me beat hands down, which I don't know a lot, but he knows he knows football anyway. So, but it'll be an exciting. Just hopefully the FCC don't take us down. You know what I mean? But it's okay. The ratings will go out through the roof. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank my special guest on the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show, friend of the show, Freight Train from Steelers Realm podcast, who always has an invite, and he will be on the show probably periodically throughout the season because that's how we do it. We, trade back and forth like baseball cards.
Yeah.
But I appreciate Freight Train you coming on, giving your Steelers expertise. And tomorrow should be something, brother. So do you got anything to comment before you get out of here? Got
I
anything
just
to
want to.
plug?
I'm just every Thursday you can tune in to Steelers Realm podcast. We're usually on 8:30 to 9 o'clock ish. It just depends, like when I put my kids to bed because they're kids. They don't like to go to bed at a normal time.
Me neither.
But but yeah, just tune in. And we like to plug our Facebook page, the Steelers Nation
724.
724.
4, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an
So
administrator on that. I try to
yeah.
put stuff on, I
So
try. It's so hard multitasking
right.
numerous podcast social stuff that I do. It's I need another head, another arm.
Yeah. So anybody listening, if you're not a part of that, please go on there and join it and start up some conversations. We could have some draft conversations before we even come on. So we're just a couple guys, same with you, that like to talk Steelers football. So there is no dumb opinion out there. Every opinion is warranted.
Well, unless it's anti-Steelers, then
Well, yeah.
that opinion is
Well, you'll get booted.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Quicker than you could say quick. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on again. I love coming on here.
Well, I appreciate it. You're a great guest, brother. I love your energy, and I wait till tomorrow, with you and your boys, the camaraderie that you guys have on Steelers Realm podcast. I listen to your show all the time in the gym you guys know your football, you guys interact, the three of you interact well off each other. And if one person doesn't know something, somebody else will come in and say, hey, I know. And that's cool. Like
Right.
PA is good for the old school and JT guides the orchestra and you just take the train right down the rails. So you guys got a great podcast. You guys had some great Steeler guests. You guys get some big guests on your show.
Yeah.
So you guys out there that are listening to my show, you guys got to listen to Steelers Realm. Subscribe to these guys because these guys they got Bill Hillgrove and they got some great guests and old Steelers, recent Steelers, Randy Cross they have a lot of variety of guests on their show. They got a little bit more in their pocket than I do. I can only feed them with a 6-pack of iron. But if you want to listen to a great Steelers podcast, listen to Steelers Realm podcast every Thursday. And Freight Train, don't you do like during the football games, you go off the rail. Is that correct?
Yes. After every game. Yep. About 30 minutes after every game, we have a little segment called Off the Rails, which I host. And this year it's going to be bigger than ever. We're going to grow it. We're going to do it kind of how you do.
You took you had to throw somebody off the side and keep trucking, man, because that's
right. Yeah.
You got some fucking dead weight and just chucked them away.
Right. Chuck it out, dude. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So
wasn't a fan, brother. Wasn't a fan.
Me either. And boy, it came out in the wash, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But that's okay. But like I said, guys, hit subscribe and like to the Steelers Realm podcast. They're on all type of media. And also subscribe to the Triple B Experience because that's my home base of where I do all my podcasting shows. And this show is the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock sharp, we will be a mega casting. The Triple B Experience and the boys from Steelers Realm getting ready for the NFL Draft first round 2023 Steeler pick. I cannot wait. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. I'm like cutting a wrestling promo right now. Tomorrow is going to be a big future for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys can watch it on your TV. Like I said, grab some beer, grab some Bob's Pizza, go to Alley Cat Beverage, get some beer, and then watch the draft, and then watch us talk about it until it goes down to the clock with the Steelers at the 17th round pick, or if it goes sooner. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see till tomorrow, but tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock. So Freight Train, thank you. Get some sleep because tomorrow is going to be a big day. Everybody, thank you for tuning into the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Thank you guys so much with the comments. You guys were great tonight. I love you. I'm a small engine that could. We're both going for the Indiana County's finest podcast where we should beat the girl who does the sex podcast because she's not real good and she shows her cleavage. We don't do that here at these shows. We talk Steeler football. I talk pulp cultures, and we're both entertaining. So everybody, Take care, and we will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Peace out. See you, Freight Train.
Adios, amigos.